Okay, we ready?
I think so.
All right, good morning. It's 10 o'clock. We'll call this meeting in Wichita County Commission Court to order. Everyone, please rise. We want to take a moment of privilege, and there's a young lady in the audience I'd like to introduce. I'm not sure about the company she's keeping with Mr. Hatcher there, but my wife, Chris, has joined us this morning. And
Good morning.
that was a surprise. Okay. Commissioner Watts has asked me to give the prayer this morning since this will be my last one. Father God, we come to you today so thankful for the many blessings that we have received, and we've just celebrated the season of your Son and his birth and what it has meant to the world by providing divine forgiveness for our sins. Father, we look across this land and we see the undertow of misunderstanding, misgiving, and just sometimes flat out ignorance and not listening and looking and trying to understand one another. You put us here as brothers and sisters, and we ask that you bless and open our eyes and open our hearts, and that we lead into this new year with a feeling of love and understanding and forgiveness. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas pledge, please.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. At this time, I would like to open this for public comment. It is 10:02. Is there anyone in this audience or on the phone that wishes to make any comment? Yes, ma'am. Please give your name when you begin, please.
Annie Box Jackson, Wichita Falls. I have a couple things that I wish to address. One being one of the decisions you made a couple of months ago regarding open records going to the district attorney's office. Correction, the criminal division of the district attorney's office, which I do want to insert that is in some way feels like a quiet form of intimidation to the public, that open records would go to the criminal division of the district attorney's office. Second, I want to address the reason why I have a problem with it, as do several others. On August 23rd, I came to the courthouse and made several open records requests with the county clerk's office. At that time, I was told that all records were going to the district attorney's office. In early September, I received an answer to one of those requests. However, I received records for which I did not ask for and was told that those were the records. So we had an open records request going to a district attorney's, assistant district attorney, Mr. Hatcher, answered me, who's a lovely gentleman, I must say. I enjoy him. But he insisted that the cast vote records that I asked for was what I received, but I did not. I received summary reports. So my question is, how is a different government entity supposed to know whether or not they are handing out correct information as what he was told? How is that? So jump forward to September 9, we again are in a conference room with Mr. Hatcher, 9 of us, here at the county courthouse, discussing records and emails that have not been answered. By the way, another complaint about my emails being rejected, which I have addressed to this county several times, still get thrown back at me. So I don't know why I'm being denied equal access as everyone else. That really needs to be addressed. However, I mentioned that, and I also mentioned that I'm still waiting on digital
I
records.
know we're not supposed to ask questions. We're not receiving your emails. I'm trying.
No, sir, they're bouncing back to me.
Okay.
Even I received an open records from Deborah a couple weeks ago, replied, thank you. That got bounced back.
Thank you.
So, in any case, September 9 to right now, December, I still have not had an answer to my request. As a matter of fact, the letter that I received from Mr. Hatcher in one of the paragraphs says, after a procedure and process is established for the viewing of the ballots, your request regarding viewing the absentee and electronic ballots will be handled through the Election Voter Registration Department of the County Clerk's Office. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm supposed to pursue again? But that's not what the law says. Who's going to answer my request? Who dropped the ball? When does the ball get picked back up? When do I get an answer? If the requested information is unavailable at the time of the request to examine because it is in active use or in storage, the Officer for Public Information shall certify information will be available for inspection and duplication by setting a date and an hour within a reasonable time. If an Officer for Public Information cannot produce public information for inspection or duplication within 10 business days after the date of the information is requested, Section 552221 requires the officer to certify that fact in writing to the requester and set a date and hour within a reasonable time when the information will be available for inspection or duplication. So basically, you guys have kind of created a little bit of a mess. Who's dropping the ball? How does it get rectified? I would really appreciate it if y'all would reconsider what you're doing with open records and how that gets resolved. I don't want to file a complaint. I don't want to. But those are available to me. I understand that things happen, mistakes are made, but you guys have to rectify it. You have to. Oh, and by the way, when a citizen requests open records, it's against the law to ask me why I want them. It's against the law. You can read your open records statute. It's in there. The second thing I wish to address, Mr. Fincannon, you're my commissioner. And at one of the last meetings here in the last couple of months, some citizens were in here, and you made the statement about the group getting people to get involved.
Ms. Jackson, you're approaching your 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll just put it like this. I recently found out that you guys, by not having software and machines available to read the electronic devices, by voting that, you are now in violation of the 1960 Civil Rights Act. That requires retention of software, as does the Secretary of State, and I have that. I don't want to hear about public parties being a party to this or a party to that. This is not about parties. This has nothing to do about parties. It's about citizens taking it back. You guys need to fix it, because now you're in violation of civil rights. The only one who's not guilty is Commissioner Mahler. And everybody up here takes an oath to defend the Constitution and to support it. And you didn't. You didn't. When you got rid of the machines and the software, and we can't have access to digital records, you threw our rights, our constitutional rights, right out the window.
Shireen, could you clarify the criminal comment? You are head of what division?
All of the open records come to the civil division. They don't go upstairs to the criminal side. They wouldn't know what to do with that anyway. They're not trained in dealing with those. We are, so we're the ones that deal with those. So as far as whether it's a criminal DA, I don't know where that's coming from, because it's always to us.
It's a copy where it
Yeah,
came from.
it comes from us. I mean, these are signed by Zach Hatcher, who is in our office. John Gillespie's name is put on the letterhead of anything that comes out. We all work for John Gillespie, but we're a separate division.
You are the civil division?
Yes.
The office is titled, as it was elected in 1985, as a criminal district attorney, combined the district attorney and the county attorney's office. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I could see where there is confusion, because a lot of people don't even realize there are civil attorney, we have civil attorneys, that people don't know that, so I can see that being confusing.
Okay.
And is the process, just for my clarification, is the process of the online, do we know if those records, Brendan, are coming through correctly to us?
Yeah, we receive a copy of any email that comes through the open records request.
Is there a way to determine any thing that has been rejected through our software?
The website is set up, it doesn't reject anyone. If you put the information in and submit, it goes through. It doesn't have the ability to reject a request.
I'm referring to your emails.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? Mr. Hampton?
I just wanted to point out to the court, with the advent of Woody and I leaving at the end of the month, Hands to Hands is gonna take a serious downdraft. And so I would encourage the commissioners, you might wanna inspect that. It's a real easy process of getting a simple $5, $10 deduct from your payroll check. I have those documents if you're interested in that, and all elected officials. That's 8 nonprofits that come with the best background, including Campfire, Boy Scouts, Friendly Door there in Iowa Park, Boys and Girls in Burke Burnett. So it impacts you guys directly. So I would really hope that we would keep a contribution going on a monthly basis for Hands to Hands.
Judge, on that note, Bob commented, I do want everyone to keep Betty Ricks in their prayers. She's in the
Yes.
hospital. She had another bad fall and had to have some attention, so.
And if I may add to that, it's serious surgery. She's had to have blood removed from her cranium. So, yeah, I really do reach out to you if you could.
Wow.
We need some prayer help here.
Prayer help, but they've asked no one to go to the hospital. Not
Yeah, no visitors.
So she gets out of ICU. It was 5 hours of bilateral cranial surgery. So, very special person there. Anyone else, anyone on the phone wish to make any public comment? Ms. Jackson, the IT director's here. He'll look into if you'll give your email, we'll see why that's being blocked or kicked back. It's after that you go to the records request. We'll look into that. It is 10:14, and that will conclude the public comments. I'd ask the court to take action on the consent agenda.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
you missed an area on our agenda, presentations.
Oh, I have a blank there on mine.
Well, we have a presentation.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. While we can't make this official today, we will certainly ratify this next week. Can you come up here with all of you guys? Judge, you're the longest serving county judge in Wichita County history. You have served this community tirelessly. For y'all that don't know, Judge is the first person in the door every morning and the last person to turn out the lights every evening. His level of dedication to this county is unequal throughout our history. I don't see those shoes ever being filled to that degree. Somebody that has that much love and for the job and desire to do well for our community. And with that, we are next week officially changing the name of this courtroom to Judge Gossett Courtroom. That's yours to keep, and we will make that our first order of action next week with the new court.
Well, thank you. It's really been my honor to serve both as a commissioner and as a county judge. And I joke about, how long, you never think you'll be in elected office that long. And to have only had to face 2 contests, well, 3 actually, the first round, the first election was a primary in the general, and then one other time in the primary. And it's heartwarming, the number of people that, since my announcement of my retirement, have stopped me in Walmart or somewhere, just said, hey, thanks, we hope you, wish you the best. And I've had the privilege of serving with 4 other countywide elected, 3 others that are going to be leaving here. A lot of other dedicated service. I'm looking at Lori Deland and Bob Hampton and what they have given. Gentlemen, what you all have done and the support and the friendship and professionalism, I really appreciate this. I hope I'll never do anything to make you regret that. But it's really been great. Thank you all very much.
What Mark failed to mention was that Judge is the first one to turn on the lights and the last one to turn them off. And if you're liable to get a phone call if you were supposed to turn off your light and didn't.
That brings back that old, we had the toilet paper issue. Well, the editorial that Don James wrote, he said, while we don't mean to make, and this is when it was writing about toilet paper, he says, we don't mean to make him the butt of jokes. It was but he talked about if he's interested in where the toilet paper is going, he's watching the pennies and the dollars. So I was just raised that way, and I still hear that. I'm still being raised at home by you didn't turn those lights off.
He will call you at about 7:30 on Saturday night, too. He said, I was just thinking about something. I was too, like watching a movie or whatever, yeah.
Well, the only other thing I'd say, if Jim Johnson with those size 12 feet is can't fill my shoes, there's something wrong there. I'm looking forward to you all working together and seeing things grow and move on and all. All righty. Okay, now, my agenda, I hope it's right. We're going to go to the consent agenda. Thank you all very much.
On number 10,
Yes, sir.
I have a question about that. The wording on it, are we,
I think, Mickey, it's doing 2 things. It's establishing the policy and then adopting the process.
well, there's nothing on the back end information. So, aren't we approving the?
Yes.
We're approving the order as it stands right now.
Correct.
And we can amend it at any time that we wish to through court order. Correct.
Correct.
Yes. And
The way that's worded doesn't really seem that way.
well, I think the first part in looking at it is establishing the process for which you
Right.
apply for
There's a process, yeah.
subdivision or
Okay.
You
or
have to go through public
subdivision
hearings. I'm sorry.
permits. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a process. That's why we did word it that way, is to go ahead, so that will be done. You can have the public hearings. We can get input from various individuals and groups that would be interested in that. So it's all part of that process is why we did that.
So as of today, mainly for the taxpayers, people out there, as of today, there will be a subdivision policy in Wichita County that you'll have to apply for, correct?
Not as of today.
I mean,
As of
what-
today, we established a process to bring one about. It's gotta
Okay,
have,
okay.
it's gotta have
The
public
application-
notice,
the
it's gotta have
application's not
public
there.
hearings.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's not an application in this process. We developed the policy, but it has to go through the public, hearings and that kind of thing.
This,
Okay.
this is an intent to move forward.
Right. As well as, the personnel policy 1 and 2, which are complete, and I think that,
Yeah.
Tanya may have gave us even
It-
more, off
it-
that, but for sure, Cheryl and Mel have been farther along than us.
And to be clear, subdivision regulation does not affect individual property owners. It just affects when a full subdivision is built within the county.
Right. Okay. Anything else on the
The
consent agenda?
item, 16, is that county clerk?
Yeah, this is for the elections. When the 22 budget was passed, there was not any allotment for the hourly workers, and so we're just kind of truing up everything within those re-election departments.
Okay, as well as 19?
So 19 has an issue with records management. Currently, those positions have to be in compliance with the local government code 203, and 2 of those positions are not, so they cannot be funded out of that fund. They have to be funded from their department, so.
Are they district clerk or county?
This is the county clerk. We fixed the district clerk last week.
Okay. And then, on item 20, Judge, I would just, ask the court to, give me 2 weeks to finalize, the 2 remaining fire departments so that they won't be set aside in this disbursement.
Okay, I mean, the way it's set up, they're gonna, you can decide whether you all wanna wait, but if they go past the 1st of January, and they haven't gotten that in, then it's a prorated amount comes off that allocation is what our current budget has said. Now, you all can change that, but right now, if it's $5 a day, and they don't come on board and have a signed deal until the 20th of January, then they will lose those days of funding.
And that might be, another way to push, if all of them are getting a little bit of.
Yeah, but the other part of that is to resolve if Electra's not gonna come into that, there's 2 parts to their contract, is dispatch and then the fire support outside of the city limits of Electra.
But we don't have a contract on the dispatching?
Yeah, it's all
Is
part
it
of the same
involved
one.
in
When they
that?
sign it, theirs has that, it has it in there.
What, like Cameron Gardens versus Iowa Park, what states the difference? of
That, it's
dispatch?
in that, about the dispatching. It's roughly $10,000 a year that they receive as a stipend for doing the dispatching.
Is the dispatching dollars not in this number?
Well, they are, if you notice the numbers are different for Iowa Park, Burke Burnett, and Electra. If Electra are on there, see,
Oh, you're talking about in the course, across the year?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
But those are the entities that have the ability to self-dispatch or to dispatch by the,
Yeah, they're
They're-
the only ones that are on the 911 PSAPs.
And Electra falls into that
Yes,
as
sir.
well?
Yes, sir. Anything else on the consent agenda? Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Clarification.
Yes, sir.
I would like to either pull that down or table it for 2 weeks.
Which one's that?
Item 20.
Uh, Okay, we can pull it down.
I amend my motion to include pulling 20 down in the
Okay.
general.
Me too.
Any comments or questions by anyone on the consent agenda items? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item 20, let's go ahead and have discussion on it. Commissioner Watts?
Yes, my discussion simply would be to give us 2 weeks to finalize this proposal.
Well, the only thing I'm gonna say is the others did, they got theirs in. The other two have not even responded to texts, phone calls, emails. Now, in one case, Mr. Bolden did respond back with an auto reply that he's out until January 2nd on vacation. But the others did that. I would strongly urge we don't change that. We go ahead and put this through, and then we deal with that and not hold up everybody else's payment. And take care of, because they've done what we asked them to do. So I think we ought to leave that alone and go ahead and pass that as it is. And then hopefully you can get the other done, and they'll get a check in January when that's done.
Question I have, currently it's set up for a payout to the fire departments when, Cheryl? When do they?
January and July.
January,
July.
first week of January? Yeah.
Well, it'll be after y'all approve this, so.
And I have been involved in all these meetings, Jeff. The fire departments have put a lot of work into this, the rural fire departments. There's nothing that stops Pumpkin Center and Electra from getting a check in January. I don't understand how it would benefit anything to hold up the other ones.
Well, I would just like them to be unified. Let's say they don't, Mick. I mean, what are we going to do to provide rural fire service in the largest area of this county?
They've never said that they wouldn't do fire service. Are you saying now that Electra and Pumpkin Center are not gonna do fire service?
No, I'm just saying there's no agreement with us to provide fire service.
There doesn't have to be. I mean, they can do that. They get donations. They have people that support their departments, and,
Well, when the Pumpkin Center department developed, they weren't associated
No.
early on.
No.
And then they came into the fold. And I've visited with those two departments myself, just trying to find out where we are. Sometimes you can talk through some of those things. I know you've made that effort too,
Yeah.
Judge, but like I know the Pumpkin Centers, they had some questions about the training requirements in there that were gonna be hard to so there may be ability to get them.
I
Brought
think so.
online.
I think that there's,
I didn't see it as a slam door
no,
or anything.
no,
when we
no.
were having that
I don't
discussion,
think
so.
that it's that way at all. I just think they need assurance. And, I mean, basically, we took a 2-sentence statute and made a 4-page document out of it to have them adhere to, which we have a one-man shop to make them adhere to. That is just practically impossible. But nevertheless, I just think they are concerned about meeting the criteria or agreeing to something in the criteria that they aren't capable of keeping up with themselves. And we certainly don't want them to stop doing what they do.
but they have to do certain things to maintain their recognition by the Texas Forest Service. I think as long as they're doing it, but if we just leave it open, back to the old days when there were 6 firemen responding and 5 of them got the truck and 1 of them went and got the beer before it brought it to the fire. We don't have that anymore. We have people in expectations that these men and women are trained for their safety and for what they're trying to provide. We're putting a lot of money into that. To do that. The other thing they need to get on board, we're gonna furnish them a large amount of equipment if they're signed on the contract and upgrading the radio system, plus what we're doing to upgrade the towers. I don't think anyone's gonna be, other than is, they've gotta do a certain level of training and all to stay responsive. We eliminated, Matthew was concerned that if someone walked up and wanted to volunteer right there on the spot to do something, we left that open, we didn't say they had to be trained. I don't know of what we haven't removed from there that they wanted, and we changed the allocations to make them equal.
And that's a big thing we fought for, was getting Pumpkin Center up there to equal share. Pumpkin Center and Freeburg equal share to every other fire department. So we increased Pumpkin Center's allocation from 5,000 to,
Well, yeah, really all of them.
I mean, they're all went up.
Well, they went back towards where they had been before we did the deal on the tower where they shared in the cost of one of those, and we could reduce that.
But Jeff, there's nothing to prevent us from working on that again and trying to bring that in the fold. So, I mean, I'd like to see them all on board. I tell you what, rural fire protection's important, and the closer we've got to having everybody on board and on the same page, the better off the effort's gonna be.
Right.
Because they all support one another and interact together, so we could get that rounded up. It would.
But if 7 out of 9 feel like they can do it, you have to
Yeah.
wonder.
Well, you don't, you're right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just-
And the fact is, right now, the big challenge in all this is recruiting volunteers.
exactly.
I mean, we are short in just about every department.
And that's why they need the funding, so they don't have to do the fundraisers as often,
And
because
that
that's what's killing them on there.
worries me, because that's the line of defense out there. And I've had people ask me before, just, to clear this up. They said, well, why should we support rural fire departments? I live in the city of Wichita Falls, we got fire. Friends, if you've got a wildfire, you wanna fight it in the country. You don't wanna fight it in town. If it's in town, you're doing major damage. You can get it shut off out in the country.
Those 8 homes burned down on the north side of Wichita Falls,
Yeah.
that made them the,
It's
Wichita
a
Falls
tremendous
has,
benefit for everybody to fight those fires out in the country instead of in populated
Yeah.
areas. And that's why these are so important. And, anyway, I'd like to get it straightened out. I just think,
But didn't-
I feel better about the whole deal, but.
Don't we have a agreement for the dispatching in Iowa Park, Burke, Burnett, and Electra?
it's part of the same agreement. isn't it?
No, I mean, prior, when we initiated that.
Yes.
I mean, there is an agreement in place, right?
Right, but it's an annual deal to, that letter agreement was sent out to them every year with the funding and stated that. But when we were informed by council that we had to have a contract, then we moved to that. And we did add to some things to that document, but I don't think there's anything in there that doesn't make right reason sense.
I sure don't want somebody like Hal Williams calling, hey, I've got a grass fire out here, and they inform him, we'll call your commissioner and get him to send his guys over there to fight this fire. They're not giving us a dime, and I don't want that happening.
Well, then, but it's not a requirement for counties to furnish firefighting. It's an optional thing. And we've had a long history of better support than many counties have done for that. Okay.
I just don't wanna cause a rift between them, and I think it's something we can close up quickly.
Okay. We need a motion to either go ahead and
That-
approve this item
Well,
as is, or,
And I would make the motion that, give me this week, I'll narrow the time frame down. We're working Friday, right?
Yeah, we're in a position.
no,
No,
no, we talked about that a week ago and decided.
But we're not off Friday, I mean.
No,
Yeah.
I hate to bust you, you're never off, Commissioner. That's why I call you at
Well,
7:30 on Saturday.
well, maybe more, the courthouse is open through
Yes.
Friday, yeah.
Yes. But,
And that's all the time I need.
So you're wanting the table until
Motion to
next
table?
Monday?
Till next Monday, yes. Next Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
and let me pull both of those in.
Cheryl looking, what's it do to our payment schedule? I mean, is it,
I mean, it'll just push it back, and so these 8 will have to wait on their payments for the additional 2, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but
That's kind of what I think.
that's y'all's.
I agree with that. They've done what they're supposed to do.
Because the way the contract's written, Jeff, they can come on board at any time.
And you can, if they come on, you get them that soon, and you want to waive that prorated reduction, you can do that. But
If you do it in the next 7 days, it's not gonna be significant anyway, so
no.
that's pretty different.
Okay, we need a motion to do something. And then we
Well,
need a
that was
second.
my motion. I'll make the motion to give me till next Monday.
Is there a second? Okay, motion dies for failure of second. Is there a motion to go ahead and adopt and pay this?
So,
Is there a second?
yeah.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Fincannon, second by Commissioner Beecham. Any other discussion, anyone on the phone or in the audience? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Opposed?
Motion passes 4-1. Okay, item 1, general business is review and approve the regular bills for payment. Order the county treasurer to disperse payroll and bill payments within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
So moved.
I'll second and thank Bob for many years of excellent service to Wichita County. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bob.
Any comments by anyone on any of the bills or questions? Okay, motion by Commissioner Fincannon, second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the bills. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2 is open and take action necessary on the coal lay asphalt bids.
Judge, we did get 2 bids,
All right.
one from Zach Harkett and one from T&G. There's the T&G. I'll send that in.
All right. T&G asphalt, coal lay per ton, they bid $92 FOB, their plant in Lawton. Delivered to Wichita Falls, $105.50, Valley View, $113.60, Iowa Park, $107.66, Burkmanette, $102.53, and Electra, $111.71.
What was the FOB?
FOB is 92.
Yeah, FOB 92. And then 105 and up.
All right, and the bid from Zach Burkett, excuse me, I thought that was wrong down there, is $90 per ton at their plant, but that's the plant located, yeah, I think so.
I ran into that this last week. That's what I wanted clarification on because I can't, they don't make it in Wichita Falls. You can't buy it FOB here in Wichita Falls. So it's a long way to drive from Burkmanette.
Where's the location, Graham?
Graham.
That's what I was trying to, yeah, it is Graham.
Yeah, but Zach's got the better FOB price.
Yeah, but it's lowest and best price, and if you're driving, well, I don't know, it's probably it's a little farther.
It's further from Graham
Little
for me.
harder.
For
It's harder.
for Mickey, it's a lot.
The
it's
gram
farther.
is harder, for sure. Okay. Well, not a lot of difference.
No, but I don't think you're gonna, that distance, $2 a ton, but you got toll road costs going north. So,
It's a lot better trip trucking it north.
yeah.
Cost-wise.
But,
Cost
okay,
and
let me,
time.
$90 a ton FOB at the plant, 108 in Wichita Falls, 110.50 in Valley View, and 109.75 in Iowa Park, $110 in Berkeley, 113 in Electra. Of course, we should take
Motion
those
to take under advisement.
Take under advisement.
Second.
Yeah, I got you.
That's for the next item.
You can truck the coal away a lot better than you can the hot mix.
Yeah, you don't have
That's
it.
the problem.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Fincannon and seconded by Commissioner Beecham to take the bids under advisement for a week. Any comment or question by anyone? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Item 3 is open and take action on janitorial and paper supplies.
The first one, Judge, is from Unipack.
Okay.
That's Wagnerberry.
And we'll just note in these the, who bid, because there is a 3-page list of items.
We don't need to.
I don't think y'all want to listen to those that long. Of course, it could make my last meeting last longer. But I think we'll pass. Okay, and the next one are from Wagner,
This one's Empire.
Empire Paper, okay. Their document appears to be in order.
Pyramid. These are new
Pyramid.
bidders.
Yeah,
No doubt.
We've had bids before.
Willie, are you having withdrawal, not having to sort these out? That was a pretty good chore, if I remember right.
yeah.
He can come and help me anytime.
Make a match.
This is very.
I don't know, that must be a sample.
They are
Yeah.
samples, but I think the bid is in
This is going to be from,
Leave something in the envelope. No, it's empty.
Edith
Belt.
Jeremiah,
looks like dispose and save.
Dispose and Save maybe?
Yeah,
Are those all the same?
What kind of samples of trash
Trash
bags?
bags, I
Trash
think,
bags.
Mark. And, oh, here's gloves too.
the Dispose and Saves out of Monroe, New York.
Hmm.
Dispose and Save, I guess, is the name of the group.
Far North Texas.
Did they bid on other things or just those two things?
Oh, no, they've got thickest proposal in here. They've got explanations about their products, and they've got, they didn't bid everything, but they bid quite a few of the different products we've asked for in there. And that holds true with all of them. Not everyone bids everything. Okay. Do we have a motion then to take those under advisement
So
for
moved.
2 weeks?
Second.
Okay. Any comment from anyone in the audience or on the phone?
I would just encourage you guys, as you're taking the janitorial stuff under advisement, to talk to Margaret, who does the purchasing and the ease of which some of those companies are to deal with and what we're actually ordering. Because sometimes we get a list of stuff we don't actually order, and sometimes the company is actually really difficult to deal with or get the materials in. So while they might be the cheapest, not necessarily the most beneficial.
You saying they're sending stuff, billing us for it, not taking it back, or?
It's just hard to place orders sometimes, or they'll say, oh, well, that's on the bid list, that's not on the bid list, when we have the list in front of us, and there's sometimes arguments over it, and it's, or stuff we need isn't on the bid list, so I would talk to her.
I'm surprised much that stuff hadn't gone on the buy board. But
It
just
probably
doesn't fit.
is.
Well, it probably fluctuates too much.
That's true.
Yeah, like Pyramid is horrible to deal with for her.
Okay. Who's gonna work with Nancy then on that and get Margaret's input?
I can work with one.
Okay.
Is it set up, Cheryl, that with that function, they can put those in the basket, those supplies?
It is not, no, we have to call in to Pyramid,
Oh, okay.
and there's a lot of fine print, a lot of what we need isn't actually on the bid list, there's a lot of fine print they don't
Oh.
adhere to. They've been kinda terrible to work with.
And I've also worked with Dora.
Mhm.
Jim
Yeah.
Cordell.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay, Nancy, thank you. Okay. Any other comments on this item? Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Fincannon to take it under advisement for 2 weeks. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 4 is discuss and take action to create a part-time intern position and a new line item in the Public Defender's Office for 2023 budget with a salary amount of $8,000. This position will be part-time with no benefits and be paid up to $15 per hour. First, you ready? You want to speak to that item, please, sir?
We previously talked about,
Could you come on up to that microphone, please?
during our budget session this last year, we talked about trying to create a pipeline from other law schools and other undergraduate facilities other than MSU, which is kind of the only one we currently have, for attorney positions as well as non-attorney positions. I thought I'd have vacancy money. It looks like, I think a good turn of events, we may not have any vacancy money in 2023. I think all the positions might end up being filled. So if I'm basing on from the 2022 budget, we had some money left over that was non salary vacancy money. Pretty close to this amount that I'm asking for, but I'm asking for a new line item to be able to go out to these law schools. There's a few events that I'm sort of slated to go set up a booth at some internship events at several of the law schools. And I'm hoping to be able to sell them on, hey, look, guys, you can come out here. We'll pay you enough to live here while you're out here for a few months in the summer. So that's what I'm thinking. I think 8,000's more than I would need to do that, but that's certainly a safe amount. I don't anticipate using all of that money, to be honest, on the internship positions, but I want to have a safe amount. Somebody wants to come on and they're useful for 3 months and do some attorney work. You know, they have, with a third-year bar card, they can actually do some work for us in court. And even without a third-year bar card, they can do legal research for us, write briefs, that sort of thing. That's definitely a value add. In addition, they can do grunt work like scanning. A couple of y'all visited my office, and I'm sure you noticed all the boxes of stuff lined up on the walls. All that stuff could go to the Linneman building, but I'd much rather it be scanned into a system and not have to use any more space over there. So there's a value add. I think that amount of money is going to be well used for this position. In addition, the primary reason I'm asking for it is because I'm trying to create a recruitment pipelines. I mean, that's the primary reason I want these people to be able to come from other cities that they don't have family here, but they can still afford to live here for a few months while they work for us. And then hopefully they come back.
Good idea. I'll make that motion to accept the new line item for $8,000 for this intern position.
I'll second it and state that we probably should include that in every year's budget a couple of intern positions parked in 409 that we could reach out if we have a qualified
Yes.
individual, because it does bring some value.
And Cheryl, even with you, I mean, we've got a
Yeah.
good financial department at MSU, and you may want to utilize that, so.
How are we paying for this, and where are we gonna stick it? Are we gonna actually stick it in the public defender's department, or are we gonna pay for it completely out of 409 and leave it there as an internship position that can be used by anyone at any time as long as they can?
I'd say leave it in 409.
Yeah.
That way, whoever needs it, I mean, moving forward,
Okay, but I think that idea is good, but I would give him what he's asking for here.
Yeah.
If somebody else comes forward, let's get those silos, so all of a sudden they go to do it and the money's been used by somebody else, so let's establish and designate it, whether you move it to his budget or not, but I really suggest you move it to his budget so that we can look at it next year. You're going into 24, you've got it there to see it.
I kind of agree with keeping it, I mean, he's the one that's wanting to use it for an ongoing purpose, so it makes sense to leave it there.
I'd like to be able to promise, if I'm going to these internship fairs, say, hey, look, we will have an open position for a single applicant for so-and-so months.
But you could have more than one, because you're not, that's $600 a week, you're not gonna use that up in
Yeah, we have, to be honest, we have an intern potentially lined up for this spring to essentially, I mean, if I can pay them, I can get them to do much of that scanning work. So I don't anticipate paying them 15, probably 10 an hour. They're local rather than a.
Let's go ahead and establish this in the, David's office, and then if we need to, create something, more, or other opportunities, that we can put one in 409 at that time.
Okay, so we're gonna transfer from 409 to 465, and
Yes, that'd be my motion.
order doesn't actually say.
So we fund it there at this time and then budget it.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving
You'll
forward.
keep it in your budget then.
We'll bring
going
it to you
forward.
in, I guess, the spring for the 2024.
Well, but an intern that's in law school, they're not on just a regular schedule like in law school on a different, so it might not be a summer deal. It
Right.
might be other times of the year.
It might be. I will say most law schools still do, traditional law schools still do 2 semesters summer break.
Okay.
Some people choose to take classes during summer break, but ever since COVID, there's been a move to non-traditional sort of
I was
schedule.
thinking they were on a little different schedule than what.
I'd love to have somebody kind of, I mean, summer is not a, we pack our courthouse with interns in the summer and then don't have any of them. I'd love to have them in spring,
Spread 'em out.
fall, and
Yeah.
spread them out. I'd love
Makes
that,
sense.
if I can manage it.
The other thing on that scanning for those documents,
Yes, sir.
we have records money that comes in, people pay when they file a case. That's part of the records of the courts. I would think that would be a legitimate
Yes,
use.
we can use that from our county funds records management. That's the area we run into with the district clerk and county clerk, is that those positions being paid out of their prospective records management, and they are not doing records management, we can't pay them out of that. So and then we have our county fund of records management. So
Yeah.
yes, there are lots of things we can do with scanning and shredding with those funds.
So,
Well, I'll reapproach y'all in spring about that. I mean, it's not an urgent matter, and I hate spending money on something I don't need to
right.
for that kind of thing. I just,
But I'd rather you spend $12 an hour through a temp service for a scanning clerk and 15, or I'm thinking 15's on the light side for a third-year law student.
yeah, my goal was just to pay them enough to live here. Because I think the experience is the primary selling point, but I can't sell that without a place for them to
Yeah.
stay, lay their head at night.
That's gonna be tight. Rents are up here.
I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I'll reapproach it with y'all if I'm having trouble. If that is a sticking point for folks, I will come back to y'all. And if it's not, then you won't hear from me about it again, except for the 2024 budget, I suppose.
Yeah, we still have a 1-bedroom apartment upstairs. It's got metal toilets and bars on the door.
I was gonna say, I've got a trailer in my backyard, but I'm not sure that it's.
They're gonna learn a lot about the law.
Thank you, guys.
All right, David, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions by anyone? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Beecham to transfer $8,000 from 409 to 465 for the intern position. Any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5 is discuss, consider, take action to approve a COI Group Furniture quote dated 12/14/2022 in the amount of $13,625.52 for furniture in the treasurer's office to be paid from department and lines determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham.
Yeah, Judge, this is to outfit the treasurer's office similar to the way we've done other offices as we've updated them. We will be taking a considerable amount of furnishings from the district clerk's office when they move to complete this. So if you have specific questions, Donna and Matt are both here to answer any questions you may have on the furniture itself.
Mark, when we get that, there's carpet there now, Bob, is that what you have, low pile carpet? Is there a possibility of getting into tile troubles underneath that carpet?
I had Rick and the guys look at it last week while we still had the abatement folks here. They don't believe that there will be, so fingers crossed.
And just to note, as of January 3rd, the treasurer's office will be in my office, so
Okay. While
they are doing renovations.
So this is furniture for, let me get this straight, for only 3 desks in the office?
No, so it'll be all the staff seating, there'll be guest seating, there's a printer area with storage, and then the fully furnished office.
How many people in that office?
3 total.
It's furnishings for 3.
There's only 2
This
going in
combined
there.
with district clerk's office.
Seems like a lot of money for.
Furniture is,
if-
and
if
it's
I
gone
think-
up
I
since
think that
we
it's-
bought furniture.
I think we're only gonna have 2 people in that office,
There's-
and I'm assuming the
There's
furniture,
there's 3 positions, so we have to have that available.
I'm assuming the
to-
furniture in there is not usable?
It's pretty
Bob?
old and put together. I mean,
Okay.
we are updating it to match everyone else that we've done.
It still has the hole for the ink bottle.
Yes.
There's probably a lot of people in this room haven't had a desk that had an ink bottle.
So it has antique value,
Yeah.
collector value.
Okay. Is that a motion, Commissioner Beecham?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion by anyone? Okay. We have a motion in by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as requested. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 6 is receive an update on the courthouse renovation, elevator projects, and all courthouse annexes and county farm property. Commissioner Beecham.
Yeah, I want to first start off by saying a big thank you to all of our maintenance staff, Will for jumping in and helping, and his staff, and Brendan for coming up. We had a catastrophe Friday that without their efforts, we probably wouldn't be in the building today. We had air handler bust over on the 5th floor on Friday afternoon, leaking about 2,000 plus gallons of water on the entirety of the 5th floor. When I got here, it was raining in the elevator shafts. The one working elevator was full of water and not working. Our staff stayed until 2 o'clock that morning, came back in early the next morning, worked all day long. We did call in some help that didn't show back up on Saturday until late in the evening. So that's when I asked for help from Will's folks that were already at work. Will sent a deputy up here to help make sure we had security in the building while we had outside source help. But it was a big team effort, and everyone should be commended for doing an amazing job. Also, Pat Quillen stepped up and came in and helped us Friday evening too.
M&F, yeah.
From M&F. They allowed us to use forklift and get equipment up to the 4th floor. Since the elevator was down, we had no way to get equipment up, so other than carry it upstairs. So we were able to use their forklift. Big team effort to get courthouse ready to go today, so hats off, kudos. Far as the actual construction projects, they've been doing a lot of work. A lot of things are going on. They were putting the new wainscot paneling up on 3. They had a custom stain made to match what we had before that did not work. They're starting over this morning. That's what they had next did not work. It's not anywhere close to what we had before. So that project's going to start over. Next week they'll start completely with the treasurer's office. That's going to be priority 1 to complete the treasurer's office and the IT office and get that hall back in operation as quickly as possible. Probably about a 3-week turnaround on that. Still, annex, really no change. Iowa Park Annex, we're still working on finals for that, so just the biggest thing was the big water leak this weekend, so we'll be replacing carpet, ceiling tiles, and light fixtures in 2 offices in the district attorney's area that were completely flooded out, so don't want to leave that carpet. That was closed loop water out of the air conditioning system. It stinks. It was brown, black water coming down so it was nasty, but they did a great job getting everything ready to go this morning.
Okay. We just need to report that to Texas Association of Counties.
Yeah, I've already got with Mel and we've started the process.
Good.
We'll share all the pictures, and I don't know that we'll exceed our deductible, but it's gonna be close. With all the overtime and everything else, it'll be close.
Cheryl, the last report we got from Mike showed a commitment of 8.5 million roughly, just somewhere in that neighborhood. So we're gonna have to kind of, going forward, I guess, watch where we're
Well, we're slotted to transfer 10 million from ARPA, so either lost revenue or those other pots. We're just trying to figure out where that's gonna go. But I gotta get completed projects, and that's where we're at now, is we haven't actually completed anything. We've started a lot of stuff, but we haven't completed sections of projects. So once we can get that first floor completed, then I can partition and move money, so.
Do we know, as of the end of the year, kind of our balance in permanent improvement?
Yeah, I can have Mike look at it where we're at, but we should be fine. My elevator is down again, so I don't know.
That new elevator is not very good quality, is it? It's probably been down.
Not
when I
as
was
much
text-
as it works.
It went down, I
Yeah.
think Thursday, and it's still down, so.
Yeah, I talked to the maintenance staff that was there last week.
Well, Ricky said they replaced the entire control panel, so I don't know
Yeah,
what our,
they had a lot of excuses and not
we
a lot
might
of
need to
answers.
see what our other options are going to be with that thing legally.
Well, the good news is that's the same company and it's putting in the 2 big elevators.
Well, they want to blame building power again, and we've taken steps to remedy that. So at their request. So I don't know. I think it's time to bring TK up here. It's time to bring them up here anyway.
Well,
and
yeah.
visit with them on the other 2 projects.
So,
But yeah, it's not good that we're having that many problems with that.
Yeah, I think I caused that. bragged on them, they'd gone a month without breaking down.
Now we've had 3 in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I won't do it again.
Well, at least we were able to get the one elevator here at this building back operational for this morning. That was the panic when I saw that one was full of water.
Kind of like a shower elevator.
Yeah.
Fish tank.
Well, the main shaft elevators, it was literally a waterfall. When you walked in the building, it sounded like we had a waterfall in the middle of the building.
One thing about it, with that elevator down over there, we'll expect the auditor's staff to win all physical fitness.
No, IT's got them beat. They got
IT
5
got 'em
floors to
beat.
climb.
Yeah. Well, I still got the big elevator in the back still works, so.
Yeah, I was just,
But you get more steps
you
going.
do,
Yeah.
yeah. Or you just, yeah, up it up the stairs.
That's really all I have, Judge.
Thank you. All right. It is 11:06, and that'll conclude today's meeting.
Signed off.
Signed off, yeah.
You're not gonna hear.
All right.